Hey, so this is going to be on rationalizing the denominator. I know that we had some questions about that. So, like we talked about in class, when we have a fraction with a denominator that has a radical, that's typically not what we want at this level of math. So, if we have, say, 2 over the square root of 5. Okay? That is a fraction. However, the denominator is not a rational number. The denominator is the square root of 5, and the square root of 5 is an irrational number. So to eliminate the radical from the denominator, we can multiply by the square root of 5 over the square root of 5. Now, I want to take a little, I want to sidetrack for just a moment here. And when we are considering any fraction, let's say 1/2. 1/2 has many different iterations. We can multiply 1/2, say by 3 over 3, and we get 3/6. 3/6 is the same as 1/2. It's identical. We've just multiplied by 1. We have not changed the value of the fraction that we began with. We've multiplied by 1 to give different numbers for different reasons. Sometimes we need a common denominator. Other times, in like what we're doing now, we want to rationalize the denominator. So in this case, we are going to multiply the top and the bottom by the same thing. In this case, we are going to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 5. And if you recall, when we multiply fractions together, we multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. So this becomes 2 square root of 5 over square root of 5 times the square root of 5. And the square root of 5 times the square root of 5, well, that is the same as the square root of 25. And the square root of 25 is a rational number. That is 5. So you see, we used the technique of rationalizing the denominator to turn the denominator into a rational number. Let's look at another one. Let's say that we have 7 over the square root of 2. We'll pause for a minute and think about what we would multiply by to rationalize that denominator. Well, if you notice, we have square root of 2 in the denominator, and that's what we need to rationalize. We need to figure out a way to make that denominator a rational number. And the only way we can make that denominator a rational number is by multiplying both top and bottom by the square root of 2. Well, that now becomes 7 square root of 2 over the square root of 4, or 7 square root of 2 over 2. Let's look at one more example. Okay? So one more example. Let's say that we have 1 over the square root of 3. Well, obviously that is an irrational number in the denominator. 3 is not a perfect square, so the square root of 3 is an irrational number. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3, which is going to give us the square root of 3 over the square root of 9, which is equal to the square root of 3 over 3. I hope this helps in understanding how to rationalize a denominator. If you have any further questions, don't forget to ask.